Everyone. Next, we have Trinity Biotech PLC, trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol TRIB, and develops, acquires, manufactures, and markets diagnostic systems, including both reagents and instrumentation for the point of care and clinical laboratory segments of the diagnostic market. Please welcome President and CEO, John Gillard. Nice to see you, John. Welcome to the conference.
Thanks, Anna, and good morning, everybody. And thank you for joining today's presentation. We appreciate you taking the time. Before we begin, please note that statements made during this presentation may be deemed forward-looking statements within the meaning of the federal securities laws. These statements are subject to known and unknown risks and uncertainties that may cause actual events to differ from those expressed or implied in such statements. These risks include, but are not limited to, those set forth in the risk factor statement in the company's annual report on Form 20-F filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Trinity Biotech undertakes no obligation to publicly update or revise these forward-looking statements to reflect events or circumstances after today or the occurrence of unanticipated events. My name is John Gillard, and I'm delighted to be speaking with you as CEO of Trinity Biotech. This is a role I took on about 3 months ago, having previously been the company's CFO. I'm also joined today off camera by our CFO, Des Fitzgerald. I'm particularly pleased to be sharing with you our new management team's fresh vision and strategy for the company. A vision and strategy that builds on the past, but also breaks from the past. Right now, Trinity Biotech is an experienced diagnostic company that under new leadership and with fresh thinking, plans to transform its existing business into a highly performing cash-generative enterprise. In addition, our recent strategic biosensor acquisition gives us a foothold in a vast and rapidly expanding market, into which we plan to introduce a highly competitive offering that we believe can successfully disrupt the market and capture significant value for our shareholders. For those of you who are new to the company's story, Trinity Biotech has been providing advanced diagnostic technologies globally for 30 years, mostly concentrating on diabetes and HIV. I believe that Trinity Biotech is a company with great potential, but it is clear to us that it needs to transform and scale. Today, I will talk you through how we see that potential and how we, as a new management team, intend to implement that transformation and scaling. To achieve this, we have two main objectives. Firstly, in the short term, we will drive a step change in our financial performance by building on our existing revenue base and eliminating unnecessary overhead and complexity. Secondly, in the medium term, we will considerably scale the company. We will do this by building a global business in wearable biosensors. For those of you who may not be familiar with wearable biosensors, they are wearable devices that give great insights into what is happening in, on, and around your body, with all the benefits that brings. On the back of these changes, we see an exciting proposition for investors in Trinity Biotech, which is now a company with established and growing revenues, undergoing a comprehensive transformation program to improve profitability and cash flow generation, and that is also building a new and highly scalable business in wearable biosensors and AI-powered services. So that is the investment proposition. I will now go into more detail and walk you through 3 of the main items I believe are critical in order for you to make an assessment of this new investment proposition. The first is an overview of our industry and where Trinity Biotech's existing business fits within it from a product perspective. The second is to bring you through the detailed and already well-progressed transformational program, which we believe will improve the financial performance of our existing business. And finally, I will give you an overview of our newly acquired biosensor technology, its initial application in diabetes management, and why we are so excited about the potential of this technology to drive further growth and significantly increase the valuation of the company. So looking at the industry and where we fit in, As Anna said, we develop, manufacture, and distribute human diagnostic tests, and have done so for the best part of 30 years. We currently have 5 main manufacturing facilities globally and approximately 350 employees. As most diagnostic testing is carried out in labs, our main business focus is on supplying diagnostic testing equipment and testing consumables to these labs. We have products across a broad range of disease types. While I've already mentioned HIV and diabetes, we also produce tests for other infectious diseases and a range of autoimmune and allergy conditions. One interesting thing to note is that our diabetes testing technology, which we sell all over the world, is often quoted as the gold standard in diabetes A1C testing. In the US and Brazil, we typically sell our products directly to the laboratories, and elsewhere we typically sell to distributors, with our products being distributed to approximately 100 countries globally. As such, we are truly a global company. The laboratory supply business is, in my experience, relatively slow moving because labs typically don't change their testing suppliers very often. As such, revenue tends to be quite sticky. In addition to our laboratory supply business, Trinity's other main existing business is supplying rapid HIV tests to support large-scale field testing programs, typically in sub-Saharan Africa. Indeed, this was the company's genesis. It was set up over 30 years ago at the height of the HIV crisis with the mission of developing a rapid, affordable HIV test. This has been very successful. And since then, our HIV confirmatory test, Unigold, has been the gold standard in its market. And recently, our new HIV screening test, TrinScreen HIV, has obtained World Health Organization pre-qualified approval and is now gaining traction in that market. We expect TrinScreen HIV to be a significant driver of revenue and profit growth from 2024 onwards. Now, let me move on to our transformation plan for the existing business. Before we get into the potential of our new game-changing products and markets, my immediate priority is to deliver a step change in the financial performance of the company's existing business. This is totally focused on getting this existing business to a position where it's delivering substantial free cash flow. I believe this is critically important for 3 key reasons. Firstly, the obvious point. Cash-generative businesses are generally more valuable, which increases value for our shareholders. Secondly, better performing businesses strengthen our balance sheet. And thirdly, we believe that our new and future biosensor technology provides a tremendous opportunity for significant future growth, and that a strong balance sheet will permit us to capitalize on this opportunity more rapidly. Looking at our transformation plan for the existing business, it has several key components that we believe are rapidly achievable, in most cases by mid-2025. We are reducing complexity and cost by consolidating our main manufacturing operations into a significantly smaller number of main sites, and also moving to an outsourced model for a significant amount of our less complex manufacturing activities. We are also significantly reducing the cost of goods of many of our products by changing suppliers and negotiating new deals with existing suppliers. We are simplifying our internal operations, including moving away from inefficient and ineffective silos, but combining business functions across product lines to create commercially focused pods. As part of these changes, we are introducing new incentive structures, which will drive cooperation and increase productivity. As a consequence, we are also further reducing headcount to achieve additional efficiencies. While many of these initiatives are focused on cost optimization, they are much more within our control than solely focusing on revenue-generating activities. As a result, I have a high degree of confidence that these will deliver the financial benefits we have targeted. And importantly, we are not beginning from a standing start. In my prior role as CFO, we began planning and executing on many of these initiatives. And as a result, we are already beginning to realize some of the financial benefits. We also have clear steps underway to deliver the remaining benefits between now and Q2 2025, when we are targeting approximately $20 million of annualized earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization, and share options costs, or EBITDA. and annualized revenues of approximately $75 million. We plan to give further details on these initiatives and their progress during our upcoming earnings presentation. We recognize that in this we are taking some big steps, but we believe these are necessary to deliver the fundamental change in financial performance that will emerge for our more streamlined and nimble organization. We also believe that this will provide a strong financial foundation from which to build our new biosensor business. Now, moving on to this new biosensor business. We believe that this product can be a real game changer for the company. This represents a key growth driver for Trinity Biotech into the medium term. Let me take a moment to briefly describe what a wearable biosensor is and why, in this AI emerging world, this is an area we want to play in. A biosensor is a device that uses a biological substance to detect a chemical. Now, in healthcare, they are often used to detect and measure a medically relevant chemical in the body, for example, glucose, which, as we all know, is critically important to our health, especially for those with diabetes. In this case, the biosensor is called a continuous glucose monitor, or a CGM. These particular biosensors are very thin, hair-like wires that are inserted into the skin, and they react with glucose in the body to create an electric current. The sensor is typically connected to a transmitter patch that is on the outside of the body, often on the upper arm. I'm sure many of you have seen people wearing these devices and wondered what they were. The CGM then analyzes the current and calculates a digital value of the level of glucose in the user's body. This is then transmitted to a smartphone as frequently as once every minute. This process creates a vast number of valuable data points about the inner workings of our bodies, which are then used to drive decisions such as whether the user needs to take insulin, exercise, eat, etc. This is a huge change from what people with diabetes more typically have to do, which is the need for them to prick their fingers 8 or more times per day to take and test blood samples, and even having to wake themselves up in the middle of the night to check if their glucose levels are getting to a dangerous level. By taking much of the pain and inconvenience out of the existing method, CGMs should also drive tighter blood glucose control. This better disease management can then reduce the impact and progression of complications that arise with diabetes. This CGM technology is truly revolutionary and incredibly important in the context of the ever-increasing rise in diabetes. For example, the International Diabetes Foundation have projected that the number of adults with diabetes globally will increase to 643 million by 2030 and 783 million by 2045. And that 3 in 4 adults with diabetes live in low and middle income countries. The value of this biosensor revolution has already been identified by investors. The 2 main players in the space currently, Abbott and Dexcom, are both earning over $1 billion in quarterly revenues, yes, quarterly, from CGM sales. And these are growing at approximately 20 to 25% per year. The global market for CGM is forecast to double from $7 billion in 2023 to $14 billion in 2029. Dexcom, who is a pure play in the CGM area, has, as of last night, a market cap of over $50 billion. However, these main CGM sensors are expensive because they need to be disposed of and replaced in their entirety every 10 to 14 days. This obviously restricts access to mainly those in higher income countries where CGM adoption has been highest. We as a management team identified the high cost and high waste of the existing main solutions as being an opportunity to disrupt the market and broaden the adoption of CGM technology. To facilitate our rapid entry into the biosensor market, we, just over a month ago, acquired the biosensor technology of Waveform. Waveform is a company that developed their biosensor technology over many years and have brought to market an EU regulatory approved product that is very attractive to us, as were the unique features of their technology, in particular their proprietary needle-free insertion method that allows for a more affordable solution. Here you can see a photo of the existing Waveform CGM system. In addition, Waveform has licensed some of its technology to Dexcom. Our affordability advantage comes from our unique technology, which allows users to retain 2/3 of the main components of our CGM for up to 2 years. This results in significant savings for payers compared to the main CGM systems that, remember, need to be disposed of and replaced in their entirety every 10 to 14 days. One of the implications of this product durability is that our particular CGM solution is not just aimed at existing users, but crucially should now be affordable to a much wider number of users in high, middle, and low-income countries. This is exactly what Trinity Biotech did with HIV testing almost 30 years ago, with sales of over 100 million devices since then. As such, we believe there is an opportunity to disrupt the status quo and grow the real market for CGMs by focusing on a high-quality but lower cost of care solution. And that is our plan. We are currently using this acquired technology to develop a next-generation version of this CGM, which we believe will have an additional number of game-changing benefits compared to the leading CGMs on the market today, with these benefits being focused on affordability, sustainability, and enhanced data capture. Based upon our analysis to date, we believe that our next-generation CGM's cost of care will be approximately 40% lower than the existing market-leading CGMs in high-income countries. The development of this next iteration of the product is well underway. As well as acquiring Waveform's technology, we've hired a number of its senior people and are augmenting their skill set by bringing in world-leading external product development and R&D consultants. We are already developing new prototype parts for this next-generation device and expect to begin pre-pivotal clinical trials during this coming summer. We expect to publish feedback on this trial in Q3 of this year. In a strategic move to support the development of our CGM, we are partnering with Bayer, the pharma giant. We and Bayer signed a letter of intent to establish joint partnerships in China and India to roll out Trinity's lower cost of care CGMs in these vast markets. With both of us having a strong focus on the importance of data in the future of healthcare, we are closely aligned in our broader vision for this technology. We are currently working very closely with Bayer on progressing these joint partnerships. Given the differentiated advantages of our newly acquired CGM, the experienced team we have brought together, and our strong partners, we believe we are well positioned to be a winning player in this exciting and developing market. A very useful product of these solutions is the amount of data that is collected. As I mentioned, often on a minute-by-minute basis, over potentially millions of users. The technology we have acquired has additional capabilities in terms of capturing data beyond just glucose. In its own right, we believe that this is rich and highly valuable information, even more so given the advances in AI. To leverage this opportunity, we are also building an AI-powered analytical backbone to deliver data analytics and insights. We believe these types of data and analytics will be at the center of the future of healthcare and wellness. This technology can provide the company with an opportunity to build a new swathe of connected and valuable services. So, to sum up, we are an experienced diagnostic company that under new leadership and with fresh thinking can transform its existing business into a highly performing cash generative enterprise. In addition, our recent strategic acquisition gives us a foothold in a vast and rapidly expanding market, into which we plan to introduce a highly competitive offering that we believe can successfully disrupt the market and capture significant value for our shareholders. Thank you for your time. Anna, back to you.
Thank you, John. Yes, let's jump into some questions with the time we have left. Starting with your newly acquired CGM, how do you expect it to be different from what's already on the market out there?
Our key differentiation is a built-in cost advantage. So as I mentioned, we believe that some of its designed-in features reduces down the number of throwaway components and gives it a compelling cost advantage versus what is already on the market. The fact that it allows, for example, for needle-free insertion means that a needle and sensor applicator does not need to be thrown away every 10 to 14 days, Anna, unlike the market-leading devices. Our CGM also has a rechargeable and reusable transmitter, meaning the computer hardware and battery are not thrown away every 10 to 14 days. We believe that this gives us a strong cost advantage.
And talking about the market, when do you expect the CGM will be available, and where do you plan to launch it first?
So as I mentioned, we're well underway with developing the next generation product and expect to enter pre-pivotal trials for some aspects of the product as early as this coming summer. We're planning to be in full stage clinical trial by mid-2025, with the regulatory approval for the next generation product to follow after that. As such, we could be in the market in the later part of 2025. But Anna, we are also looking at other ways to potentially enter the CGM market earlier than that, in perhaps a staged way in some key markets. At this point, for commercial reasons, we're not going into that in too much detail, but we will update investors in due course.
Who are your main competitors in the space, and how do you win against them?
In the CGM space, the main competitor are Dexcom and Abbott. There's a number of other players trying to enter the space, but we see a significant cost advantage in our product. And in our 30 years in the diagnostic industry, we understand that cost matters, particularly for government payers, NGOs, and insurance companies, and out-of-pocket expenses. So cost does matter. We know the existing solutions are expensive. By eliminating significant amount of throwaway components out of that cost profile, we believe we will have a significant advantage. In addition, our product should produce much less waste. So in the context of a greener environment and all the pressures we're under from a climate change perspective, we believe that will be a significant benefit as well in helping to take a winning position in this vast market.
Now, your transformation plan is aggressive. So what do you see as a biggest risk to execution, and how are you going to mitigate that?
Look, firstly, I agree the transformation plan is aggressive, but I believe we need an aggressive approach to deliver on the company's potential. I have led a number of business cost optimization projects over my career. And in my experience, it's much better to solve the root cause problem and create a better platform rather than just piecemeal moves. And that's what we're trying to do with this plan. Given we operate in a tightly controlled and highly regulated industry, change needs to be well planned, managed, and then verified. That creates risk, but also in my experience, creates a robust change framework, which with the right team can actually de-risk the change. As such, I believe the world-class team that we have assembled over the last few years, both with some long-term Trinity team members and some new joiners, can successfully mitigate and manage these risks while still producing the significant benefits we have planned.
And why have you not done this transformation plan until now?
It's a fair question. And we have made cost reductions over time, but we have recognized for some time that our operations were overly complex and inefficient. However, we did need to build a team that was capable of executing the change needed to deal with these root cause issues. And we also needed clear leadership alignment on this need. As I mentioned, we've been planning some of these moves for quite a while, But as we operate in a highly regulated industry, they take time to plan and execute. The new leadership team has undertaken an extensive review of commercial opportunities, operating models, and the regulatory landscape to ensure that we maximize the impact of our transformation plan. As a new leadership team, we now have clear agreement on what needs to be done, and that is why we're adding these new initiatives to our transformation plan to make it more aggressive and more ambitious.
And let's get specific. Over the coming year in 2024, what milestones should investors be focusing on?
I think in the existing business, investors should be focused on a successfully ramping production to meet the increased demand for our TrinScreen HIV product and the launch of our new column system for our lab-based diabetes A1C testing instrument. But I think it would be critical for us to make the cost-based transformation moves I spoke about earlier, so we can really put the company on a strong financial footing. And we will update investors on our progress around that plan. In CGM and biosensors, we do plan to update investors on our progress on developing the next generation CGM and what those other steps may be that we make to enter the CGM market somewhat sooner.
And last question, and feel free to close on this or with your closing remarks. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth in your current business right now?
In the immediate term, I think it's TrinScreen HIV and diabetes A1C. We've already gained strong traction in the HIV screening market in Africa with TrinScreen, and have won our first placement on an algorithm in Kenya. And we expect growth to continue in Africa in the short and medium term through the successful entry into more country algorithms. In our A1C testing business, the initiatives that we're working on are close to completion, will allow us to reduce the cost of the manufacturing of our instrument and consumables, giving us much more flexibility to grow the business. But in the medium term, I believe our growth prospects will arise from our much discussed biosensors, including CGM. So with that, Anna, I will thank you for your time. I'd like to thank everyone who joined for their time and taking an interest in the company, and wish everybody a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Great job. Please come back in the future with some updates. Thank you for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you, Anna.
Okay, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back at the top of the hour with Agba Group.